What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching Dave B on TV, where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And real quick, I want to talk about trying to get that shit right. I ain't gonna cap. I fuck with the little geometrics and all that good shit. But for the most part, I want to talk real quick about spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying? Good friction versus bad friction. Now, first of all, what is friction? So friction is whenever two forces is coming together, right? And it can either be harmonious or it can be harmful. You know what I'm saying? There's a such thing as good friction and bad friction. So the good friction is more harmonious type friction where you and another individual might not agree, but y'all differences is actually what make the relationship, or y'all differences can actually be I'm about to use a word. I gotta make sure it's the right word I want to use. Hold on. Okay, yeah, that ain't the right word. So I'm glad I looked it up. So it was like, nah. But basically, either your energies are gonna be complementary, right? That's the right word I was trying to use, and then or it could be the other end where the friction is harmful, where both of you are stuck in a basically like an infinite regress, right? An infinite regress being y'all can't agree to disagree. You know, even if y'all agree to disagree, see, a lot of times people will say that, but even in that, sometimes people still walk away with a bad taste in their mouth, and to which they then don't even want to continue participating, because even though like some people are more willing to disagree to agree to disagree and move forward, but some people still be in their mind like, well, if you think like this, you know what I'm saying, it starts to pile on, and sometimes people hold on to that energy. But all that shit aside, right, knowing the difference is key, especially now. And the reason is because of the time we're in. We're in a spiritual warfare time where there's an old dated way of looking at the world, and there's a way that you have to create for yourself in this new time period we're moving in. So what's going to happen is you get a lot of people, individuals from the past. This could even be people in your life who are still there currently, but their mind state is still in the past. And now, what do I mean by this past mind state, new mind state? Well, basically there's been a shift. There's a shift in consciousness. Every now and then we go through a conscious shift where people's concepts of going about the world, right? Like I said, it's either going to be on par with where the world is actually supposed to head in, aka new ways of seeing the world, new ways of developing what makes sense or not. And then there's going to be outdated ways that are still creating conflict and friction in areas of life where there doesn't need to be any. And one example of this is like you see the world moving in the way of, for instance, it's like people who didn't want to get on the computer. You know, the world is moving into a conscious shift of participating with technology in a different kind of way, but you are so stuck in what you want or in how you see the world or whatever. And a lot of times people be stuck in those modes based upon their own insecurities, their own fears, their own incapabilities that they haven't quite got to grips with. But it be so rooted subconsciously, aka there's so many things that you can distract yourself with, like accolades and different things, that people a lot of times wear all these things as some form of armor or shield to keep others away from seeing who they truly are, which is a scared individual, a hurt individual, a damaged individual, an individual who feels as though they're incapable. So they believe these things about themselves, but they go out in the world and grab a bunch of shit to put on like armor, basically to protect their soft spots. And this is like the highest form of weakness, because no matter how many layers you put on something, we're like, if a real spirit come around, we're gonna see right through that shit, and then we're gonna say two words that's gonna pierce right through your heart space. So it's like you need to really make sure the only way to really protect yourself is to go within yourself and start to actually resolve some of these issues, because you're not gonna do anything. It's like, see, people like this who put up the armor, they come across weaker individuals, because we all spirits in different spaces and stuff like that. There's always levels to this shit. So they'll come around spirits who's younger than them or less equipped than them, and the first thing, aka when I say less equipped, they're just less experienced with dealing with individuals with armor. So they see the armor and they think it's something to be respected, aka, oh, you an elder, or you got a degree, a PhD, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'ma look up to you because you are seemingly more responsible in a space than I can learn from you, right? either naive spirits do this or just, good-hearted spirits who don't know any better, right? And the first thing the spirits with the armor do is they take that on and they fill them up with all kinds of different insecurities, that aka projecting. That's all they can do. They haven't built a mind of their own. They can only see what they see outside and bounce it off of what they've already built as an armor and shield. So whatever it is that somebody throws at them, they're not even coming up with their own intelligence about what it is that they're receiving. They just get hit and they do what armor do, reflect. But that ain't no way to really live. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want to be strapped out here, it's like you got to be the one holding the gun. You got to be the one who's looking at what you want to look at and taking the shots that you need to take for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I know with the metaphor, I'm kind of all over the place with it, but it's the same theme in terms of, like, you would think that the first thing you need to do is go grab a bunch of armor, but you don't understand that armor weighs you down. And when we talking about spiritual warfare, it's not so much about being shielded and protected. It's about being light enough to move and be mobile. You know what I'm saying? Being mobile and being able to go into the spaces that you want to go in, right? And not only go there, but then make an impact, aka you being the creator and initiating the thought, aka you not just a motherfucker walking around with a bunch of shields. You are almost like a special ops. You got the strap and you moving and you rolling and you shaking. You like James Bond. Nobody can stop you. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how the more energy you need to be in when we talk about spiritual warfare, because it's like you walk around with all this armor on you. You slow as shit. People see you a mile away, and it ain't even nothing to think hard about. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, there's more artillery in the world that can blow up your spot, even no matter how much armor you got on. You know what I'm saying? But if you stay light as a spirit, you won't ever get trapped in a concept. You won't ever get trapped in a light. You won't ever get caught up. And even if you do caught up, you got the strap with you, aka the ability to come up with your own thought and feeling to get to either blast your way out of something or to create or initiate some kind of new action into the world. You know what I'm saying? To express something and it be, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like if you look at just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going too deep with the analogy and shit like that. But it's just like, with a gun, it's like, it's either going to protect you, right? Or it's and protect you against, like I said, spiritual warfare. Where is the war really against? Now, it's like the war really is against motherfuckers trying to kill where you're going as a spirit. As a spirit, you have the right to go wherever you want to go, right? As a spirit, you got to take the power within yourself to co-create with the universe, to create the reality you want to see for yourself. But what happens is, in spiritual warfare, you get a lot of demons around. You get a lot of agents, a lot of individuals who come around your life. And because they're not satisfied, the first thing they want to do is drag you down to their space, aka all that armor, all that weight. They want to drag you down there. Right? They see what you got going on. They don't want to support that. They want to drag you down so you can lift them up. But they too heavy to lift up. How am I gonna lift up somebody with a million all this damn armor on? Like, that's not even realistic. So it's like you have to keep yourself protected. Right now is a time period where we have to keep it moving in the direction you want to go. All these other people in your past telling you to go here, go there, go there. Where has that gotten you? Chances are you've been tried that. Because a lot of us in this space, especially, you know what I'm saying, who end up on the internet and some of these spiritual communities, you know what I'm saying, the subconscious community, we all have these experiences where our whole life we had to kind of come up with our own thought and feeling. Our whole life we was fighting with different entities trying to get us to feel certain ways about ourselves that weren't true. The first thing people do is project onto you if they don't really know themselves. The first thing they do, they see you and they don't give a fuck about who you are. They just want to tell you about yourself. Now, anybody who coming at you trying to tell you about yourself, right? Now, sometimes we do be fucking up. Sometimes we do fall short and we do need somebody to come around and tell us about ourselves. Sometimes we do need to listen to that. But if you've been just minding your business and doing what you're doing, and yeah, it might look a little chaotic a little bit because you in your spiritual energies. You trying to get your spirit right. Who cares? I'm going to tell you right now, if anybody coming at you trying to make you feel bad for going through experiences that you felt as though you needed to go through or just doing you, then to hell with them. To hell with them. It's time to cut that shit out. It's time to get that shit away from you. And even if you got to like, because right now, like that's where the warfare is at. Everybody around you want to come with an idea to drag you right back down to a space that you don't belong in. And we have to stop being so easily deterred, right? easily deterred by other individuals. Deterred, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because it's like some bullshit, man. Stop being so easily deterred by other individuals who don't even know where they're going in their life. And like a lot of times it's be people who older than us, not just by default, because they feel as though they have some kind of forward, they feel as though they got something else, a new vision, a new perspective. They feel as though they in a different space, and that's great. You know what I'm saying? Because down here, yeah, down here, moving and maneuvering within the magic square, yeah, of course, you've learned a few things along the way, but we have to also take our power back just as individuals, saying, I don't care if somebody giving me advice sometimes. Sometimes you just need to go out and experience for yourself, and that's the only way you really gonna learn anything. And you know what I'm saying? So anybody projecting any energies upon you, always take the time to sit back and say, wait, what? Like, hold on. And this brings me back to the point where it's good friction or harmonious friction. So when you're looking at things that are hitting you, right? Because we go through life and we experience, aka you have a thought and an idea. It's like whatever it is that you're trying to do in the world, you have to first put it out. You have to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be behind closed doors in your room dreaming about all the type of shit you want to do. You have to get up and do something, right? But once you do it, right, you have to, there's got to be conviction there. You got to have faith, belief, and imagination in whatever it is that you're doing, right? Now, that's going to be your spiritual strength, but these are your superpowers. Now, you have to be strong in your shit because you're going to get hit with that resistance, right? And now, with that resistance, good friction or bad friction? Good friction might not even be so happy-go-lucky comfortable. Good friction might rub you the wrong way, but the difference between good friction and bad friction is, see, when you have good friction, it's friction that it might hurt, but that pain leads you to a awareness that's going to help you develop the right awareness or the right perspectives and the right I'm gonna call them materials, energetic materials, to then construct the proper spaceship, aka mentality, and how you want to go about it, Gollum and imagination for it, to actually get where you're going. That's good friction, harmonious friction, like, you know, friction that might hit you at a bad angle, but in the end, you was able to create some kind of pathway or some way of going about it that was actually complementary. Now, bad friction is when somebody come around and everything that they saying, right? Even if you are a type of individual like me, like I'm the type of individual, I can learn something from everybody, even the most negative person. But it's not it's not about just negative and positive. It's about what it is that's being given and what's being projected and what's being offered. And a lot of people speak from a space where you can tell off the bat, this motherfucker ain't even coming up with nothing that is gonna be harmonious. Everything coming out their mouth is harmful, something that is gonna take me, aka if I spend too much time trying to make sense out of that, aka taking the friction and finding a lesson in it, that friction is going to just lead to more complications, aka you starting to think they're right, being a little insecure yourself, but it's not even yourself being insecure. You're just picking up the energy based upon what they was giving off to you. So you have to be able to pinpoint these different energies and say, okay, what are you, what are you, first of all, I've been in my space. Because as a spirit, you got to look at shit like that. Look, I've been in my space. Fuck is you in my space telling me about me for? First of all, off the bat. Second of all, whatever it is that they kick into you, you got to look at that shit and realize, like, look at yourself, right? Be the observer and look at yourself and say, okay, am I really doing these things? Or is this individual projecting certain things upon me that I ain't got nothing to do with? And if that's the case, you need to let them be. Let them be where they at and let that shit go. Because either way, man, it just doesn't matter. And we at such a time, like I was saying, spiritual warfare, where it's like, we don't have time anymore to even play with people. You know what I'm saying? We don't have time anymore to even go back and forth, to even care enough about how somebody feel about our reaction toward their bullshit. Like, nah, that was bullshit. You knew it. And that's the truth of it too. It's like at this point, at this spiritual age, at this spiritual time, everybody know what they doing. And even if they come off like they don't, you ain't got to get on their neck. You ain't got to blow up their spot, but just understand the space they in ain't got nothing to do with the space you in, and you need to just move accordingly and keep it moving, keep it pushing, because it's not going to lead anywhere. The only things you need to be considering is harmonious friction, aka friction that make you think outside of your fixated mind frame that wasn't getting you where you needed to go. You know, and like I was saying in I think the video I just posted with the new moon, sometimes we get hit with certain energies and it's like we don't, it's like it's negative, but it's not negative in the terms of it just being negative and just fall back, but it's negative to to put your awareness on something that is actually going to help you develop the right materials. And so, that's just something to keep in mind. So always keep that in mind when it comes to friction. You know what I'm saying? Friction, good friction, harmonious friction, and bad friction. Friction that's just going to be harmful to your spirit. Friction that's not going to do nothing but weigh you down. Like I was saying with the two different spaces, people trying to drag you down where they at. And it's like when you vibrating in your own space, you probably not even aware of other individuals not liking what you're doing or not. You know what I'm saying? Because when you just doing you just doing you. And you have to stop. Like, we also have to get out of the guilt program. Anything that's causing guilt, but it's stemming from you doing what you got to do as a spirit, go ahead, kill that shit, because this shit's not going to lead nowhere but into more frustration, more confusion. And right now we also dealing with a lot of confusion energy, where it's just a lot of confused spirits out here, because right now spirituality is becoming the trend, but it's not real spirituality, aka the subconscious work is missing. It's just on the surface spiritual. So people are taking these concepts and thinking that it's supposed to always be like that, when they haven't even dug into the depths of the subconscious to really know what's real and what's not for them as an individual. And that is work you can't get away from, aka shadow work. You can't get away from that. You got to do that. You got to go through that, and you got to know where it is that you at all times, so that when it does come time for another individual to come around you and they kicking they shit and trying to make you react and respond to whatever they giving you, and they so in they bag, because, like, man, I'll tell you, man, people down here, the spirits down here, demons down here, they be so in they bag that you start to be like, damn, well, maybe I am tripping. But it's like, nah, you always got to go back to that middle space and just balance yourself out. You know what I'm saying? Balance yourself out. And it's cool to listen to, like I said, you can learn something from everybody, but how far do you go with those lessons? And what are those lessons actually about? Don't just sit there and listen to shit that you know ain't going nowhere. And if it is, and you just got to sit there and take it, just let it go in one ear, one out the other. But either way, we got to keep it moving. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that was spiritual warfare, looking at the difference between good friction, harmonious friction versus bad friction. Because there's going to be friction. And that's what I wanted to get across. It's going to be friction. Friction ain't bad. It's whether it's harmonious or harmful, whether it's taking you somewhere, expanding you, or whether it's keeping you contracted, or not even contracted, but constricted, keeping you constricted by or restricted by somebody else's mentality of what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's capable, and what's possible and what's not. Nah, before you listen to any other motherfucker, remember, God is about all possibilities. Not even about, God is all possibilities. So the second somebody come around you trying to limit your possibilities, you shut them the fuck up and you say, hey, I walk with God, motherfucker. All possibilities in this motherfucker. So anyway, much love, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.